Good evening, Mr. Bond fans, and welcome once again to another episode. We're going to be taking a look at some James Bond deleted scenes. This time, we're going to be looking at Timothy Dalton's second and final 007 adventure, License to Kill. As with all of my deleted scene videos so far, we're going to be watching the deleted material that was released on the James Bond Blu-rays a few years ago. I believe these ones have some director's comments at the start as well, so we're going to watch all those through, and then we're going to go through each one in turn and kind of talk about pros and cons of each, and then finally whether or not they should have been kept in the actual film, if we would have gained anything overall if they'd have remained in there. We're going to jump into watching them right away, but this is just a quick reminder up front that if you haven't already done so, then please do click the subscribe button below to subscribe to this channel and be kept up to date on future deleted scene videos I put up on here, as well as other Bond content that I upload to my channel. I'm getting very, very close to 30,000 subscribers now, which is just kind of insane, but I've already kind of planned a bit of a live stream event to celebrate hitting 3,000 subscribers, should that happen at some point in the near future. So if you've been kind of like wavering over whether or not to subscribe or not, now's the time to do it, and I would really appreciate it. So thank you. More subscribers helps promote your channel to on the YouTube algorithm and these kinds of things, so more people like yourself might find this video and get something out of watching it. So yeah, if you haven't already and you fancy doing so, please hit the subscribe button below. Let's dive right in.
Yeah, this scene deals with the arrival of Frank McRae at Felix Leiter's house when they've discovered his wife murdered.
Oh, quick intro.
This is exactly
Okay,
how
I'll be there.
Lemire!
You can't go in. No, sir.
Come on, Lemire!
No.
It's okay, he's a friend of Leiter's.
Hey, let him in.
Oh, poor Sharky. I loved... Oh, is that it? Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Right, so yeah, that was just Sharky arriving at Felix's after Felix has obviously had his leg bitten off in the film by the shark. I really like this moment. License to Kill is a Bond film that has really gone up in my estimations in recent years. It used to always be one that I hated when I was a kid, but in the past couple of times I've watched it, I've actually got an awful lot out of it. The one consistent like I have had throughout the years has been Frank McRae as Sharky. I really like this character, and I don't think he has enough to do in the film, and I actually wish that they'd have kept this in the film. This helps sell me more on the fact that Sharky, Bond, and Felix are actually a trio of friends, because as it is in the film, it's like Bond and Felix, yeah, we know these guys are mates, we've seen them on adventures before, and then they just have this guy Sharky with them, and it's, I mean, maybe we should go back to, you know, George Lucasify some of the older Bond films to insert Sharky in more scenes so that we sell the audience more on their friendship. It's nice seeing the character so emotional about his friend being mangled and tortured the way that he has been. I think it's quite a lovely moment. You don't really get much of a sense of Sharky being in this, you know, the intelligence community like you do Bond and Leiter, and I like that they have this, you know, just kind of friend with them, this almost civilian friend. It's a really nice moment. I wish they'd kept this in the film, particularly considering how short it is. I think it would have been a nice moment, a nice bit of spotlight on a character that doesn't actually get the spotlight all that much in the film. Okay, on to the next one.
We filmed this scene at Snipe Point, Key West, in August 1988. The reason probably that we removed this scene was maybe it had something to do with Timothy's hat.
Maybe? You're the director, John. How do you not know this? Timothy's hat. Oh, yeah. Oh. That's some bad hat, Harry.
That's the ghost Sanchez left behind.
Get the bimbo below before she starts waving at him.
Yes, sir.
I like that Sharky's boat is called Pajama.
Stand off. We have divers in the water. Clear away immediately.
So get out of sight around that headland. And be careful, we're being followed.
By that tiny little periscope. More Bond and Sharky, which I like, but I can yeah, if you're gonna delete a scene on the pure basis of a hat, then maybe it's not that worthwhile to begin with. License to Kill is probably the film where Bond looks the least stylish, I would say. Even later on in the film, when Dalton gets into his tuxedo, I don't think Bond has ever looked more haggard than he does in License to Kill. And here he just looks kind of sackless in this baggy t-shirt and that damn hat. I know he's in disguise and all this kind of stuff, but yeah, it's not quite the clothes are suave. You know, it's how you wear them as well. Maybe someone like Sean Connery could have pulled off wearing that kind of hat with some kind of panache, but right now it looks almost like, yeah, it's Q on vacation instead of Bond on a mission, or rather off mission as he is in License to Kill. But you get where I'm going with it. Okay, deleted scene number 3.
In this scene, we see the exterior of the casino in Isthmus City, and in the background, you'll see the president, played by Pedro Armendáriz Jr. Some people may remember his father in From Russia with Love.
Isthmus City is aglitter tonight as Fran Sanchez arrives at a party that some say is to celebrate his recent escape from custody in the U.S. Senor Sanchez, you were recently described in a leading American newspaper as a drug lord involved in narcotics trafficking. What do you have to say about these comments?
First of all, the United States should not blame me for its drug problems. Yo soy un hombre de negocios. I'm a businessman who runs a gambling casino. I love the Americans. I think they're a great people. And I welcome you all here. Besides, we have better odds than in the U.S. Only 1-0 on the roulette wheel. You'll excuse me, I must greet my guests, okay?
President Hector Lopez arriving. Military escort, Hector. They're chanting. Here he is now, flags waving, as Fran Sanchez escorts his guests into the gala evening. This is Anna Rack, Latin American Network News, live from Isthmus City.
Was that news reporter's name Anna Rack? Like the waterproof garment you wear? Okay, I absolutely love this scene. I didn't mention up front, but I have seen most of these deleted scenes before. I'm a big Bond aficionado, Blu-ray geek, all that kind of stuff, so obviously I've seen the extras a few times. Coming back to these deleted scenes, there's some that I kind of forget are here. I don't come back to these all that often. This sequence has stuck with me, actually. It's Dalton with the holster on in the hotel room, smoking a cigarette. It's all really cool, and I think Dalton looks, for my comments just now about Bond looking rather haggard in License to Kill, I think Dalton actually looks pretty phenomenal in this deleted scene. I like that we get a reminder about the lighter that Felix and Della gave Bond earlier on in the film with the flamethrower thing, so obviously that becomes a big part in defeating the villain later on. It's nice to have that reminder in there. You know, you set it up in Act 1, you remind the audience about it, and then you pay off at the end. But just how good Dalton is in that sequence, and it's so short, and it fades out far too quickly on this version that I'm watching. I love the bit where he stands up with the gun and stuff. He looks really phenomenal there. I actually wish they'd kept that in the film. I know it doesn't do an awful lot for the plot, but just it is just Dalton being Fleming's Bond, and that's where his strength lies, and yeah, he's great in that moment. Let's see if we can continue this high. I mean, 2 deleted scenes so far that I think would actually benefit having stayed in the film.
This scene I shot in August '88. It starred Bud Williams, and unfortunately for Bud, I dropped the scene, but it was a good scene. It was just that we had stronger scenes, and I didn't think it was strictly necessary in terms of narrative, so off it went, I'm afraid.
Hi. I'd like to rent your boat.
Not a chance.
Well, how much to buy her?
More than you've got, wise ass.
Name your price.
All right, 200,000.
Does that include a full tank of petrol?
Oh, quick one again. Oh, well, that was quite nice as well, actually. I quite liked that. Again, yes, perhaps not too important for the overall narrative, but for a Dalton Bond moment, I think it's actually quite cool. Obviously, in License to Kill, they end up giving more of the one-liner, quippy sort of stuff to Sanchez, and Bond doesn't actually have all that much in the way of humorous moments, and I guess that's quite appropriate for the fact that he's out on this revenge mission, avenging the death of his friend's wife and the mangling of his friend, obviously. So, I quite like that he has a little bit of a humorous moment there with the guys trying to barter the boat off. I think it works quite nicely. Would I have kept this in the film? Maybe I actually would have done. Given the overall context of License to Kill, I suppose, and the fact that Bond doesn't have as many humorous moments as I just alluded to, I think it would actually benefit from a moment like that. So I guess kind of similar to the previous deleted scene, I understand that narratively you don't need it. However, I think that from a character perspective, particularly as this is Timothy Dalton's second Bond film, and he is somewhat still establishing himself in the role, I think including those little character moments, more of those, would have actually helped the overall product as a result. Right, on to the next one.
Yes, here we see the scene at the Acapulco airport, which is supposed to be Isthmus City Airport. And it shows the Chinese or Japanese businessmen arriving, greeted by Robert Darby, and Timothy Dalton and Carrie Lowell watch the proceedings, and then we establish a shadowy figure watching, and it turns out to be Christopher Neame, who's a British agent watching and presumably reporting back.
Oh.
The young guy is Truman Lodge, Sanchez's financial whiz kid. He's wandered back home for insider trading on Wall Street.
Do you recognize any of the others?
Yeah, the tall blonde guy is Heller, ex-Green Beret colonel, handles all of Sanchez security. The feds would love to get their hands on him, too.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of dull. I can understand why that one was cut. I guess it helps to have sort of Truman Lodge and Heller name checked, so we kind of understand who they are a bit better. There are an awful lot of henchmen in License to Kill. There are a lot of sort of villains coming in and out of the story at various points. And maybe it would have helped to... maybe it would have helped to kind of name check those characters and made more of a point of their introduction. Maybe. I don't think you need it. I quite agree that that one should be left on the cutting room floor. Okay, on to the next one.
Yes, this scene takes place in this most beautiful post office in Mexico City. They allowed us to work there at the weekend, and it was a very, very beautiful building with lots of wrought iron work, which I believe was made in Britain many years ago. I deleted the part of the scene where Bond brushes against Robert Darby. There's a moment where you think that he may recognize him, and decided we didn't need that. Didn't kind of work the way I thought it might, so we just picked the scene up a bit later.
That is a very attractive post office. I'd like 12 first-class stamps, please.
Bienvenidos, amigos.
Señor Sanchez. Señor Sanchez, señor Wang. Señor Rosano. Su hijo.
Oh, it's so nice, like Sanchez passing Bond, and obviously what that means to Bond to be, like, literally right next to the guy he's out to kill, and I really, really like that moment. I guess obviously it's tough when you're watching these things just isolated, and I guess maybe John Glenn was right, maybe it didn't exactly work, you know, if you were to place that sequence in where it would be in the final film, maybe it didn't work as well as he intended, but just seeing that isolated little bit, it was, yeah, really, really cool. Just Sanchez being completely oblivious to passing by the guy to whom his death would mean everything. It's quite a moment. I quite like that. And on we go.
The scene here is in the casino, which we used a very beautiful building in Mexico City. And we imported all the gaming machines, etc., from America. It was quite a job for Peter Lamont. his crew to work out. But the whole point of the scene really was just to establish the two Chinese narcotic agents from Hong Kong who we see in the background. In the event, we didn't think it was necessary in the end, and I dropped the scene.
Not a post office then this time? Where are we? The DHL?
Well, let's get out of here.
Factory.
I have the draft you wanted, Senorita Kennedy.
Just the profits. I could use some walking around money.
You can walk an awful long way on $250,000.
So what did you do with that hot tamale?
We went to see Sanchez.
Come on, enough for you. Do you think we look suspicious? No, dear. Okay, yeah. Another one that quite rightly ended up on the cutting room floor. This is more what I meant about when I was talking about how Bond looks kind of haggard in this film. I do not think he wears that tuxedo with any kind of style or grace or presence or anything like that. Maybe it's the hair. Maybe I just can't get over that sort of quiffed back hairstyle that I don't think is terribly Bondian. Yeah, okay, again, that didn't do a whole lot for the film. Glad it's out. Let's get going.
Well, this is another interesting scene, really. This was shot while I was down in Mexicali with Timothy and Carrie and shooting the truck sequence, all the bits that we needed to with the main artists. And Miguel Hill, my assistant, was entrusted with doing the arrival outside the house and the subsequent thing when the tanks and that arrived. So that was going on while I was down there. And then I came back and I shot the interiors. On recollection, I decided that I really didn't need all that pedestrian stuff of arriving and him being strapped to the table. It all took good time, good screen time. So in the end, I found it more pacey to come straight in with the water being thrown in his face. And the rest is self-explanatory, really.
Yeah, I remember this. So this is after Bond has been captured in the film by the British guy and the ninjas, who randomly insert themselves into the film. Okay, so this is all like, yeah, he's in the boot. Welcome to our used furniture cover story.
Who the hell are you?
Be polite and answer the man.
Jesus! Okay, yeah, definitely didn't need that one. I think that one might actually be the most worthless one of all of the deleted scenes so far. I don't think you get really anything by seeing them slowly bring him in, put him on the table. It's a much snappier cut to, just as John Glenn said, obviously, in the film, where the water just splashes in his face and then that's it, we're in the scene. This is really slow and draggy, and that bit at the end is just when she slaps him. It's like, God. I mean, I know that License to Kill is probably the most... no, actually, I think Casino Royale might be a tad more brutal, but License to Kill is still one of the more brutal Bond films, and that sequence in particular, and how those characters around Bond die, moments later in the film, is really quite horrific, and, yeah, maybe it was just like an extra touch of unpleasantness that you didn't need in the final film. And I believe this brings us to our final deleted scene of the film. Take it away, Mr. Glenn.
Again, this is another example of a pure editing decision, really, to keep the pace going. We've seen Bond escape, and we've seen him on the blind side of the boat. It's probably quite a good example how versatile Timothy Dalton was at doing his own action stuff, that we could speed through the water with him attached to the bow of the boat. He was game for all that. It's a very pretty scene, but it didn't really add an awful lot to the story. So I decided to drop it.
Oh, it's quite fun, actually. It's really hot in London at the moment. I'm actually quite jealous of Bond in this moment. Well, this is slow. That's a nice house.
Come on.
I'm going back.
Don't you love him?
I hate him. You know something? You're crazier than he is.
Huh. Okay, yep, another one. I mean, I'm fairly convinced that half of that deleted scene was just watching a boat slowly arrive at a shore, so I don't miss it at all. It's perhaps a nice exchange between Bond and Loopy there at the end, but yeah, very unnecessary. So there we go. I think that was kind of 50-50 pretty much from me in terms of what I would have liked to have kept in the film and what I think was quite rightly pulled out. The stuff that I think I would have preferred to have been kept in tends to be a lot more of the character stuff, and maybe that goes some way to kind of explaining, you know, some of the faults that I think are in License to Kill, and I think some more of those little Bond character flourishes would have really helped the overall package. There is a lot of very saggy stuff in there that is just sort of like characters going from one point of a frame to another or whatever that is obviously not terribly necessary, but some real gems in there, and that one scene of Bond in his hotel room watching Sanchez on the TV I think is really cool, and of a good chunk of the deleted scenes I've looked at so far in this video series, that one is probably like, I really wish that they'd have kept that in the film. I think it's pretty awesome, and Dalton looks fantastic. It's really well shot, staged, all that kind of stuff. Really, really love that scene. So that is it for this time, Bond fans. To get you up to speed quickly with other videos that I'm working on at the moment. In terms of big projects, I'm working through my big fat Moonraker review, which is going to be pretty chunky, so expect that to come in maybe a week or two. Obviously, for Patreon supporters, they will have access to it a good few days before it's uploaded on here. Then I've also recorded my GoldenEye N64 playthrough footage, so you can expect, I still need to write that review, and obviously that one's going to take quite a long time. It's a big project, so looking forward to getting into that, really dug into that after Moonraker. And then there are going to be more deleted scene videos coming up in the near future, and then I have a few 10th YouTube anniversary videos planned as well. Probably a live stream and then maybe like another video as well. And then, of course, if I hit that 30,000 subscriber milestone, there will be another different live stream to the 10th anniversary one. So 2 different formats for those. But yeah, got a lot planned for the rest of the summer. So yeah, do stay tuned for more. You can always keep up to date with where I am at with these things on my various social media pages. So I have my Facebook page and my Twitter page, and then there, of course, my Patreon page for those of you who want to go one extra step in supporting this channel. And until next time, Bond fans, so long for now.